everyone forgot that Kevin Durant asked for a trade before the year. It's not all of a sudden like Kevin Durant decided like, oh my god, this is so random that he wants to leave the Brooklyn Nets. And like, no, he said at the beginning of the year, please trade me, and they were like, no, you have 3 years left on your deal. And then
Sure.
you have Kyrie Irving who wants to get traded, and then my thing with Kyrie is like he gets to Dallas, and then he says, yeah, this was always in the works, and I've always been planning on working like playing in Dallas. I'm like, what? You just signed a contract and you're talking about how I would never leave my brother number 7 leave hanging in Kevin Durant, and then you're saying how I want my jersey retired in the rafters with the Boston Celtics, and then people are like, "Oh, Kyrie Irving to the Mavericks? That's crazy." It's like it's really not. Like Kyrie Irving's just deciding, "Yeah, I don't want to play anymore with Kevin Durant." So let's start with the Kyrie Irving trade. It started the whole ripple effect. And I felt like there was a lot building up in Brooklyn. Ben Simmons was proving that he's not it. I bet Kevin Durant gave them an ultimatum. It's like, if Ben Simmons is an all-star caliber player, I want to leave this team. He's not a good defender anymore. He's scared to shoot. And then if you're scared to shoot, he's not aggressive. He doesn't want to get fouled, and he's paranoid of going to the free throw line. That's just not championship material. So this whole Brooklyn Nets situation had to end, and this was all building up at the beginning of the year, though.
Yeah.
We saw signs of it. And the first big thing, a lot of people said this flew under the radar. Blake Griffin had a super interesting interview with NBC Boston where he's talking about it's nice to be like with a normal team. Like they're very welcoming here. And he took a few shots at Brooklyn. And then I looked at that interview. We talked about it. I'm like, Blake Griffin has been in the NBA a while, and when he speaks, I feel like he commands some sort of respect with everything he's done for the NBA with the dunk competition, seemingly peaking with Blake Griffin. He's the really last superstar. So it's like when Blake Griffin speaks out about this Brooklyn Nets situation, like maybe it's not what uh, you everyone thought it was. And then the fact that Kevin Durant only won one playoff series with Brooklyn, it's
That's no.
mind-boggling.
Yeah, we talked about it last week about being the biggest failure in professional sports, with forming three of the best scoring players in the history of the sport,
Yeah,
and they played what 13 games altogether and nothing in the playoffs, just
nothing.
complete choke job. Well, now the Mavericks, they get Kyrie and Markieff Morris. They give up Dinwiddie, Finney Smith, a 2029 first rounder, and 2 second-round picks. What do you think wins this trade?
Oh, the Mavericks, absolutely. I mean, you gave up the pick, but the pick's in like 2029, and assuming you have Luka Doncic locked up, that pick's not going to be worth very much. Especially Luka's going to be like what 2029. He's about my age, so he's going to be about 30 then. So he's still going to be in his prime. He's still going to be an MVP caliber player. And then Kyrie Irving, it's really just a 1 year rental, and you were trading away Spencer Dinwiddie. Similar situation with Jalen Brunson. You don't really want to pay him. The worst thing that happens with Kyrie Irving is he leaves next year. The potential of that trade, however, is Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic go to the NBA Finals. And people look and act like it's crazy, but it's really not that far fetched. If Kyrie Irving shows up, sets his mind to it in the playoffs, no one's questioning his talent on the basketball court. The Mavericks were right there in the conference championship, were they not? And then you go out and instead of Jalen Brunson, you replace him with Kyrie Irving, and then you bring in a Morris brother, and then you still have Tim Hardaway Jr. who can shoot the lights out of the ball. It's like when you trade for Dorian Finney-Smith for Brooklyn, that's great. If Kevin Durant's there and you're competing, who the hell wants Dorian Finney-Smith on an average team? He's a great role player on a championship team, but if your team's just okay, what is Dorian Smith going to do for you, really?
Yeah, I think it's a great move for the Mavericks because they're kind of in that somewhat of the bubble for the NBA title, especially in the wide open West.
Yeah.
And now they make that move. They have Kyrie. I'm interested to see how Kyrie and Luca work together. I feel like I think they'll end up working it out.
Yeah.
And then I feel like they didn't really give up all that much. Spencer Dinwiddie, basically an upgrade at point guard for the Mavericks, and then a couple of picks that don't matter. Second round picks don't matter at all. We saw that throughout the draft, like
No.
throughout the trade deadline. They handed out second round picks like it was candy. And then Dorian Finney Smith, who's just another guy. They can replace him pretty easily. So the Mavericks got a lot better. Mavericks should be contending for the NBA title now. And Kyrie, if we're talking about point guards in the last decade who can go toe to toe with Steph Curry, it's Kyrie Irving.
And Dame, yeah.
Yeah, but Kyrie Irving, he ended up beating Steph, so give him some flowers there too.
Yeah, for sure. He had the
So,
shot.
so Kyrie Irving, I think this is a good move for the Mavericks. It's a trade that has a lot of risk involved because of what he does to locker rooms, like he did to the Cavs, the Nets, and the Celtics. But I think as long as if they can end up making it to the finals, winning a title, I don't think it matters.